Happy Friday, everybody. I hope you had a great week. Today is October 14th, 2022, and this is your long-awaited Friday planning video. Today I want to recap some conversations I've had with you, my amazing clients, in the past few weeks. There are also some quick updates that I'll add at the end, one on the Secure Act and one on student loan debt relief. Stand by for that at the end. Let's recap a few calls I got this week. I want to focus on one longtime client that calls me often over the past 30 years and asks me to remind me that I'm a long-term investor. This week I got that call along with three great questions that I want to share with you today. These questions are what I've described over the years as some of the most important questions that can be asked. Obviously, over the past 30 years working together, this client heard me. The questions: first, what is going on in the account? Next, do we need to make any changes? And finally, how will this affect my life, my retirement, and the chances of me reaching my goals? I'm sure that many of you have other questions that you'd want to add to that list, and I look forward to talking to you about all of them. But let's quickly focus on these three and the importance of those questions and the answers. For the remind me request, if you're watching this video and you've watched at all over the past 2 years or we've spoken about your goals and your financial plan, this one's just a reminder. And I'll paraphrase Zig Ziglar in that remembering that you're a long-term investor does not last. Neither does bathing. That's why we recommend it daily. This is harder when the market's down, but it's even more important. Please don't get me wrong, what happens now is very important. We must remember, though, for the long game, that for most of us, the long term is what we're focused on. If we're focused on the next day, week, or month, that plan or the money in that part of the plan needs to be addressed much differently. I think we covered that enough, but if you wanted a daily reminder, just let me know. More seriously, this and other questions are the focus of all that we talk about, so please reach out. As for the first question, this is obviously one that we're all asking, some of you more often than others. I've heard from many of you that this is the time you've stopped opening your statements or logging onto your website, and that's understandable, but remember, never my advice. When we review your accounts in the coming weeks, we'll review what this market action has done to your holdings, and more importantly, see the upcoming questions. What does it mean to your plan? And we'll get to that one. The second question is, do we need to do anything? For this one, first of all, let's talk about this. Second of all, please rewatch the past 3 Friday videos on my YouTube channel. This will give you a whole list of our Q4 action plan and what we will review about in our plans to see if we need to do anything. You can also refer to the Monday videos for what's happening in the market to get some idea of what we may be doing. This, of course, is specific to each of you and each account of yours. This refers directly to question 3, and yes, you heard that. All that I have said so far refers to question 3. How will this affect my life, my retirement, and the chances of me reaching my goals? You've heard me once or a million times. This is the key to all we do. This is determined by the individual goals and plans that you have in place. This is the most, or certainly one of the most important questions we can discuss. So please set aside some time to think about this. We know that the market has come down this year. As of now, this is the worst year in a long time for stocks and bonds. Rarely do we see both asset classes performing poorly. You have spent your whole lives building your wealth, and most, if not all of you, have done so by making spending and saving decisions based on what's going on around you. The phrase "tighten your belt" comes to mind. Over your lifetimes, and certainly as you've built your wealth, you've known when to tighten your belts or not. When inflation's at 40-year highs and markets have taken trillions of dollars of wealth out of the system and your pockets in the past year, this is the time to think about that again. I'm not saying stop spending. I'm just suggesting that you pay attention to what's going on in the economic world around you. Let's talk about that. If you need to, if you're taking income from your accounts, this is a key conversation that we need to have. Many of you have already had that conversation with me, but if you have not, let's talk about that. So those are some of the questions and the answers I'd like to discuss with you one-on-one as the year comes to a close. I hope we'll meet in person, on Zoom, or on the phone. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about your plan. I'll even be happy to remind you that you're a long-term investor. Finally, the 2 updates that I told you about. First, for the student loan relief update. The release from the U.S. Department of Education that came out the one that I told you about that you can sign up on their website, states this week that the application will be available later this month. You can actually see a preview of it on their website. A few updated facts, then more after the full rollout. The application will be available online at a .gov URL. This is a safety note. They're really working on fraud warnings. You will also not have to log in or provide documents to apply. I'm not sure how this is going to work, but that's what the update says. The Federal Student Aid Department will reach out to you directly once you've applied and if they need additional information. I'd be extra vigilant at this point in the process. Application period should be October 2022 through December 31st, 2023. And finally, you'll be able to apply both on mobile devices and desktop devices. Okay, more to come when we get that. And about the Secure Act and anyone who's inherited an IRA in the past few years, there's a new IRS notice 2022-53 that references anyone who did not take the required minimum distribution and is concerned about fees and penalties. As you know, I do not give personal tax advice, and this one's tricky, so please refer to your tax advisor for this and keep an eye out for more information. Okay, that's what I promised you today, a recap of some important questions that we should discuss and a few updates on some issues we've been talking about. We're getting into Q4, so please stay in touch and let's plan for the end of the year and for what 2023 will bring us. It's never too early to plan. A final Zig Ziglar quote, if you don't plan your time, someone else will help you waste it. Come back Wednesday for the market update, delayed because of the holiday, and back again on Friday for another planning video. Have a great weekend.